Hello, my fellow makeup enthusiasts. Welcome back to my perfectly healthy expression of makeup enthusiasm. In particular, hello, Nina. This is a requested video. Nina had left a comment saying that she wanted to see a video of just the basics of putting on eyeshadow. So if that is not something that interests you, this is probably not the video for you unless you want a little preview of the new Colourpop and Disney collab called Midnight Masquerade. Nina had mentioned that she has earth tones in her collection and that those were the shades that she wanted to use. And this palette seems to have earth tones. I don't have a lot of those in my collection, but fortunately this arrived today. So it seems like kismet, perfect timing. And if you have not checked out Nina's channel, I will link it down below. If you love unboxing videos, honey, she's the queen of those. I don't even know how many subscriptions she has, and I know, Nina, that you said that you were gonna downsize your subscriptions. I totally get that. I did the same thing, but I still watch unboxing videos, so if that's your jam, go check out Nina. I know she does Ipsy, I know she does Allure, she does some random unboxings like the Pure Beauty mystery bag. They just had a mystery bag, she did that one. Just go check her out and give her a thumbs up and tell her that I sent you. So henceforth, I'm pretty much going to be talking directly to Nina. Nina, I'm not sure if you have any experience at all with eyeshadow, but I'm guessing that you've got some eyeshadow primer in one of those many beautiful boxes that you get all the time. So I'm going to go ahead and use the Anastasia primer. You can get the mini one for $13 at Sephora or Ulta, and I'm going to paint it on with a brush, but honey, you can use any primer you have, any primer that works for you. And honestly, you don't even really have to use a primer, but I find that this one works really well. I don't find that all of them work, so do what works for you. And I'm just gonna put this on and I'm gonna speed it up because this is not interesting. Oh, but I will tell you that I am priming the whole lid, and I'm probably putting on primer where I may not necessarily even put on eyeshadow. If you're using a translucent primer, it's not gonna matter. It's not gonna make a difference if you have primer and you don't have eyeshadow over it, because I'm not taking eyeshadow all the way up to my eyebrows. I just wanna make sure that I cover my ass, or my lids in this case. And after I've put on primer, you can use a brush, you can use your fingers if you want to, that doesn't hurt anything. You'll see me use my fingers a lot in this video. I like to take a sponge. This is just a drugstore sponge wedge thingy. I think I got it around Valentine's Day. So they look like this and you break the heart. Oh! And the reason I'm using a sponge to blend this out is because even the best primers sometimes can get a little bit lumpy and a little bit cakey, and you want the smoothest canvas you can possibly get if you choose to use primer. And like I said, you can forego it and you'll be fine. So I'm looking at this palette and I'm getting an idea of the colors that I want to use. This is going to be a relatively neutral look, which is something different for me, so I appreciate the opportunity to play with something new and dangerous. I'm looking at Enchanted, Mama Odie. I'm gonna have to use Nutmeg because I love Megara, and I think I'm going to use Quasimodo. So before I put them on my eyes, I'm going to put them on my hand and see how they play together. That's something that I do. I've never heard anybody recommend that, but I find that it's really helpful. So here's Mama Odie and Enchanted, and these are gonna be side by side on my eyelids, so let's see how they look side by side. Yeah, see, they don't seem to be fighting. And then I think Nutmeg and Quasimodo are pretty safe because these are very neutral colors, but I'm still gonna put them together because these are gonna touch and just make sure that they play nice. And it seems fine, it seems fine. Every now and then you'll get colors that just don't blend. Let me find two that are not gonna play nice. Let's see. Okay, so I'm thinking that Frog and Wife and New Dream probably would not play together very well, so I'm gonna swatch them side by side so that you can see what a mistake would look like. See how this is kind of muddy in the middle? It doesn't have a nice blend. So if you're looking at a palette and you're thinking, I want to use these two colors, I would really recommend putting them on your hand and just seeing how they play together before you stick them on your eyelids and then have to wipe them off. You can also consult the color wheel. You can Google it. This is what it looks like. It essentially tells you what is going to look good, what's going to blend together. If two colors are right next to each other on the wheel, they're probably going to blend well. If they're further apart or maybe across from one another on the wheel, they're probably going to clash. Oh, and also you want to think about your eye color as far as what shades are going to be flattering for the color of your iris. Nina, I was just watching your video and I know for a fact that you have brown eyes. Girl, you're lucky because you can pretty much rock any shade. Those of us out here who have blue eyes or green eyes have to be a little bit more careful because some colors don't complement the color of the iris as well. But you brown-eyed gals and you brown-eyed guys out there, you can pretty much get away with anything. The other thing I'm going to do that may not be the proper way to do it, I like to use these little drugstore sponge tip applicators. If I'm having trouble getting a shadow to apply, I just pull one of these puppies out and it applies great. Now, I have a ton of brushes and many of them work well, but I don't really want to make a fool out of myself in this video, so I'm gonna start with a sponge tip applicator, and I'm not gonna start in the inner corner. I'm actually gonna start right about here, and I'm gonna start with the shade called Enchanted. Get a little closer to the mirror, and I'm gonna put it right here. And even if you have hooded eyes, you'll be able to feel your crease. So I'm just gonna go right up to the crease, and then I'm gonna take it a little bit above the crease. And many people out there will tell you that you have to start with the darkest color and work your way to the lightest color. And then other people will tell you to start with the lightest color and work your way to the darkest. I say malarkey to all of that. I tend to start in the middle, but that's just me. And now I'm taking Quasimodo and I'm taking it on my finger. Nina, you mentioned that you had hooded eyes, and what happens if anybody else is watching this, when you have hooded eyes, basically you have a little fold right here in the outer corner, and that can be tricky to work around. You might get some blank space right here. If you do have hooded eyes, you know what I mean, because you'll have that crease, and if you're just using a brush, you might have some blank space or some patchiness. I say get the shade on your finger and work it into the outer part of your eye. And what I like to do with my eyeshadow is I like to go up and out. So I like to kind of give my eyes a little lift. I give myself an eye lift with makeup. I don't want it to go straight out like Cleopatra eyes, even though that would be cool for a costume. I like to go out like this. So I'm going out and up, and so what I'm doing is I'm just kind of patting this color into the outer corner, and I'm making a non-precise triangle. I'm not dragging it down, I'm not dragging it straight out. I'm just focusing on the outer corner and, like I said, making a non-precise triangle. Hello, my darling boy. My cat just came in. Say hi. Say hello. Okay. So now I'm taking the other side of that sponge tip applicator and I'm grabbing Nutmeg. I'm just gonna kind of use this to blend Quasimodo and Enchanted. And it looks like a dumpster fire right now. Don't worry, we're gonna blend. So at this point, I'm just taking an angled fluffy brush. You can use whatever kind of brush you like, but I feel like a fluffy brush is the best thing to use for blending. And play around with your eyeshadow. You might find that the windshield wiper motion like this that a lot of people used to talk about might work best for you. You might find that a tapping motion works best for you when it comes to blending the shades together, or you might find that circular motions work best. Some people swear that there's one way to do it, that it has to be a circular motion or it has to be the windshield wiper motion. I say that it depends on the shadows, it depends on your skin, and it depends on the type of blend that you're going for, so play around. I always say trial and error. That is the key to learning how to do makeup in a way that works for you. I'm going to take Mama Odie, and she's a shimmer shade. She's kind of a metallic, let me swatch her one more time. She's like a metallic, almost a duochrome. It's like a goldy, yellowy, peachy shift. And you'll hear a lot of people talk about inner corner highlights. This is not my inner corner highlight. This is just the shadow that I'm putting on the inner part of my eye. I might do an additional inner corner highlight, I might not, we'll just see. And if you want to get kind of crazy with it, you can bring it all the way down here. That's just going to give your eyes a nice, bright, awake look. And really, to me, the purpose of eyeshadow is to make your eyes look bigger and brighter and more awake. And we all need that, I think, from time to time at least. So I'm making sure to wipe this brush off so that I have all of that darkness off of it. And I'm going to help Mama Odie blend in. I hope I'm saying that right. I've seen The Princess and the Frog twice, but it's been a long time. It is Mama Odie, right? It's not Mama Odie or anything. If I'm saying it wrong, I'm going to be so embarrassed. But man, I love the soundtrack to that movie. So good. Actually, I love the soundtrack to all of the Disney films, but Princess and the Frog has a really good soundtrack if you like jazz. Okay, I'm pretty happy with the way this looks. See, I have lightness in the inner part of my eye, and then I have the darkness that I have isn't too dark, but it's sweeping the eye up and out. So it's not sweeping it straight across, but I really don't like having much at all underneath my eye. A lot of people do these blown out eye looks where they'll have color coming way into the inner corner underneath the eye and coming down pretty far. It looks cool, but it's not really my preferred aesthetic. I find that it doesn't give you that brightness and that awake look. I often will leave my under eyes pretty much blank. I do sometimes like to drag a little bit of color, just a little bit under here, kind of like a liner. And if you have a small brush, or especially if you have an angled brush, that is the best thing to use. Let me grab one. Something like this. This is a Colourpop angled brush. And like I said, this is totally optional. I'm not gonna take the darkest shade. I'm gonna take Nutmeg. And I'm just gonna draw a little tiny bit under here. And then if you want your eyes to look really defined and to really stand out, you can use any kind of liner. I find that liquid is the easiest to use. I'm guessing you probably have a black liquid liner because everybody loves to send those out. So I'm gonna grab my favorite black liquid liner at the moment. And I'm gonna go add some lashes because that's what I do. If you just wanna wear mascara, that's fine. That will give your lashes a little bit of a lift and it will help your eyes look more open. If you don't wanna fool with it, that's okay too. So this is what the makeup looks like finished. And Nina, I was watching your video today and I noticed that your glasses are pretty similar to mine, so I'm gonna put mine on. So this is what the makeup looks like with glasses. But I am gonna pop them off for a second so that I can review the steps. I like to take some kind of middle of the road tone. Nina, I know that you're fair like I am, so a good peachy tone or a coral tone would work. And I like to put that right in the middle of the eye. It doesn't matter if it goes a little wonky because you're gonna put other colors around it. And then I like to take my darker colors on my finger and just kind of smudge them out and up on the outer corner. Like I said, draw a very imprecise triangle. I used Quasimodo for that, so I just kind of drew an imprecise triangle and really got into that crease. And then I used a slightly lighter color and went over the top. I blended that out with a brush. And then if your palette has any kind of really light, man, that has some kick up. That's okay. If your palette has any kind of really light or slightly shimmery shade, that's gonna look really pretty in the inner part of the eye. So you can put that there and take it about to the middle of the eye because that's gonna make your eyes really look big and open and awake and cheerful. Seriously, if you guys have any requests, I'm more than happy to do that. It makes me happy. It just makes my heart smile when somebody says, hey, can you do this? I'm like, yes! I mean, unless I can't do it, in which case I'll say, I'm so sorry, but no. At any rate, that wraps it up for today. As always, thank you so very much for joining me. Nina, thank you so very much for the request. I hope this was helpful. If you need any more info, just post a comment down below and I will be happy to answer any additional questions that you have. Follow me on Instagram. I will follow you back. Very special shout out to you if you are watching this video on the toilet. And until next time, stay adorably obsessed with makeup and play around, experiment, rub things on your hands, screw up, and figure out what works for you.